All right, this breaking, the Department of Justice watchdog is launching an investigation into the FBI's pre-election actions on these Clinton emails, who knew what and when, and James Comey in his role there as the FBI director, technically reporting to the Justice Department, but a lot of things that either weren't communicated, or if they were, weren't communicated clearly. Well, now they want to get to the bottom of it. I don't understand how they're going to get to the bottom of it, but thank God the smartest legal mind in the world is with me right now. Andrew Napolitano, help me. What's being done here?
The Inspector General is an independent agency inside the Justice Department. Every executive agency, Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, Defense Department, et cetera, has an IG, an Inspector General.
Okay.
Does not work for the Attorney General, does not work for the Director of the FBI, works for himself. He has a team of FBI agents assigned to him. They can investigate anything. Here's what they're going to investigate. The chance meeting of former President Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch
at the airport,
at the Phoenix airport,
right,
when Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were both subjects of a criminal investigation by the Justice Department. The decision by the director of the FBI to recommend no prosecution without any input from senior people in the Justice Department. The decision by the FBI director to reopen the case on the basis of Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner's emails before they had examined what was inside the laptop 11 days before Election Day. All of these things that Donald Trump quite properly complained about during the campaign will now be the subject of a truly independent, nonpartisan, non-political investigation from inside the DOJ.
So this isn't, I'll plead my ignorance here, so if you'll endure these questions. This isn't the administration investigating this.
It is not.
So this is an independent Inspector General, and he has free rein to investigate anyone and everyone?
Correct. He can summon the Attorney General. She won't be the Attorney General by the time he does it. I don't know if Jim Comey will be the Director of the FBI, but he can summon them and put them under oath.
But Jim Comey's still in office for a number of years, right?
Jim Comey is in office until he leaves or until President Trump asks him to leave.
And by the way, can President Trump ask him to leave early?
Yes.
And he would have to honor that?
Yes.
Okay. So this IG report, how long do you think it would take?
You know, Neil, it really depends what they find. Sunday night, just 4 days ago, during the Green Bay Packers New York Giants game, the outcome of which was a debacle if you live in the East Coast.
This is referring to a football game.
Correct.
Understood.
The FBI released 300 emails demonstrating conclusively that they contained state secrets. They were sent by Mrs. Clinton to Sid Blumenthal, and that Mr. Blumenthal was hacked by 2 hostile powers and 1 friendly power. The hostile powers were intelligence services of Russia and China, the friendly hackers, the Israelis. This paints an entirely different picture of the email case from the one Director Comey painted on July 5 when he recommended against indictment. Because one of the metrics that the government looks for when it decides whether to prosecute is, was there harm? Mrs. Clinton denied emphatically that there was harm. She denied emphatically that she caused secrets to get in the hands of foreign governments. We now have proof that they did get in the hands of foreign governments.
So, you know, John Podesta ran her campaign and said if not for Comey's intrusion, they would have won. So we don't know. It's anyone's guess. But what I want to ask you here is that will this satisfy both sides? You know, there've been talk, let's get an independent prosecutor going. Donald Trump himself has vacillated on that. Right after the election, no, leave him alone, done, done, done. This kind of absolves him from any of that, right?
Well, there still is the issue of whether or not Mrs. Clinton should be prosecuted. When Senator Jeff Sessions...
Wouldn't that depend on what comes out of this IG?
No, it will be a different investigation.
Really?
Yeah, because when Senator Sessions was asked at his confirmation hearings on Monday, or excuse me, on Tuesday, you were very critical of Mrs. Clinton during the campaign. Can you be fair-minded with respect to the investigation of her? He said, I don't have to be fair-minded. I'm going to have nothing to do with that investigation. She's already still being investigated as to whether or not the Clinton Foundation was a true charity or some sort of a subterfuge. She's still being investigated about whether she made decisions as Secretary of State intended to enrich the foundation, which would be public corruption. And now the email investigation is being reopened for the second time. Open, closed, open, closed, open, third time, because of what the FBI released on Sunday night.
Incredible.
And the Attorney General will not be involved. There'll be an investigation, but the number 2 or the number 3 person in the Justice Department will be running it. Mrs. Clinton, hire a law firm.
Where does this go? In other words, after an IG does a report, however,
well, the IG,
where does it go?
That is a great question. The IG cannot indict. The IG just puts a report out there. And
right.
if the IG finds indictable offenses, it's up to the DOJ. The subject of the report, though it'll be a different DOJ.
Right, it's a different DOJ.
Correct. The report will go to, presumably, Attorney General Sessions, and he will decide whether or not anybody should be indicted, including perhaps his predecessor, for what's in the report.
Mud scheme, though it may be, how likely would he be to take action?
You know,
in that event?
It's interesting. This stuff that came out during the Giant game may very well prod President Obama to pardon.
I didn't think of that.
Donald Trump would probably welcome that. It takes a big headache off the plate of the Trump administration.
Okay. Well, I've got you here as well. Donald Trump has divested, or says he will divest, all his business interests, including all foreign ties, all foreign transactions, even through his kids who are going to be running the business, his two oldest boys. A lot of critics are saying doesn't go far enough. Obviously, different standards for his cabinet that has to go through hoops, far more aggressive hoops than he does. You think this will work, or will this come back to bite him?
Nothing he does will please the people who don't think he should be president of the United States.
Right.
And what he announced yesterday is far more than what the law requires of him. When he said, I was just offered $2 billion to use my name for a development in Dubai, he has the right to do that under the statute. A senator can't do it. A member of Congress can't do it. A janitor in the Defense Department can't do it. But the president and the vice president can. They can operate a business, and they can receive income for activities they conduct outside of their official jobs. Those are the only two employees of the federal government that can do that. So what Donald Trump did yesterday was far more than what the statutes require of him.
All right, and one last thing. Clapper at the intelligence agency says he was not the one, phoned Donald Trump to say the intelligence agencies did not leak this info out on Donald Trump that obviously ignited this fire response of the CNN reporter yesterday. If that's the case, who did, and then how big a deal is this?
God, I wish I know who did. I think it is a big deal. Somebody somewhere used an intelligence agency or an intelligence-like agency to create a false report, a threatening report about the soon-to-be president of the United States. It's very, very serious. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, whether you voted for Donald Trump or not, you should be seriously concerned about who, what, when, where, why, and how of this. I hope the new Justice Department and the new CIA can get to the bottom of it.
What's creepy about this is Chuck Schumer warning a few days ago, it's not a good idea, Mr. President-elect, to criticize intelligence agencies. It's almost as if he either knew something or was acting the role of Tony Soprano.
I was sorry to hear Chuck Schumer say that. As skilled as he is, I think he would have demonstrated more skills if he had picked up the phone and said, Mr. President, here's what I know, and here's how I think you should address that. Because there was I agree with you, Neil, there was an ominous tone to his public warning. And then this awful stuff happened.
Scary smart doesn't cover it, Judge.
Oh, it's scary these times.
But this Packers-Giants reference was brilliant.
Don't tell me you're a cheesehead.
I have no idea. Apparently it was a big game.